Hi there, Michael Griffiths here, and welcome to the Business Connectors. Great to be with you for the first time in 2015. We've had a lovely break, certainly hope that you have too. I'm here with a good friend, Alex, and we're going to get to Alex very shortly. But before we do, I want to just be able to check in and see how you've been going. How's your network's been growing? Have you been meeting some great people? And certainly looking forward to bringing some more great people to you throughout 2015 at the same time. So without further ado, Alex, welcome. Let's start off telling us a little bit more about yourself. And I know there's one thing that you're very passionate about, which I'll get to if you don't. But let everyone know a little bit about yourself and also Accumulate, and then we'll get into what Accumulate actually does.
Thank you, Michael. So a little bit about myself. I'm a passionate water skier and love spending time on the water. Also love spending a lot of time out on the road bike, climbing a lot of hills. Also hanging out with my girlfriend and family and friends, as well as morning and evening walks with my dog, which is my downtime, which is good. A little bit about my background. So I've had around 16 years worth of experience in the office products industry. Started off working for a small business, which I helped grow, which was then acquired by a large global leader and publicly listed firm. So working with that organisation was quite an insight for me to be able to learn from some very high level executives. And also that's where I develop most of my business skills.
Yeah, fantastic. So there is a little secret here, isn't there, with your passion of water skiing?
That's correct.
You're currently at the moment trying to re-break a world record that your grandfather
That's correct.
had set. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my grandfather back in 1970 set a world record for marathon water skiing, which was 5,010 kilometres, which he did in 10 days, 5 hours and 36 minutes. So I came across this record a few years ago and have decided to have a crack at it. So just learnt to water ski about a year and a half ago, and we're now just in the midst of training and preparing myself to have a crack.
Yeah, amazing. One day you wake up, you find something that someone in your family did, you've never done it ever before, and you just go, hey, I want to do the same.
Yeah.
So it's amazing what you can do when you really put your mind to it, isn't
Exactly
it?
right.
Fantastic. So Accumulate over there in North Sydney. Tell us a little bit about what Accumulate is and the sorts of people that you help and how you help them.
I will. So Accumulate, we're a firm of print management consultants. So we help companies save money on the cost of their internal printing spend. So we capture a lot of data and we use some really cool software to look at the insights on a company's internal printing behaviour. From there, we then prepare and present various different reports, which will allow us to have a look at ways in how we can help further reduce those costs. We then have a relationship and a long-term ongoing partnership with that client to help further reduce savings along the way.
Yeah, brilliant. So certainly in a society right now where every cent really does matter,
Yes.
Here you are fighting for the good guys, so to speak, and trying to reduce costs in terms of printing. And if you can't do it, then they're not going to be a client. And if you can do it, then they should be using you.
Exactly right.
Yeah, brilliant. So a real different way of looking at it compared to, here's a photocopier and we'll charge you X amount of cents per copy and we hope that you do 100,000 copies and that's how we'll make our money. So it's a real flip to, I suppose, what most people know as traditional photocopying.
Correct.
Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. So right now we use email non-stop. We use so much technology in terms of communications. There must be some new trends that have taken place over sort of the last 5 years or so in that printing photocopying space.
Yeah, look, that definitely is a good question, Michael, and you've raised a valid point in terms of where technology is driving us these days. So first of all, there is a huge shift from people moving away from a standalone desktop printer, owning that device outright and then having to pay for toner cartridges and consumables outright as well. The costs start to build up. So quite heavily in the SMB space at the moment, there is a huge shift towards a managed print service, which means you effectively can lease or buy a device outright and then you'll go on an ongoing monthly service agreement with a provider and you'll basically pay per click for each time that you print. So there's a huge shift now towards moving clients towards a managed print services. Outside of that, a lot of the industry leaders are now starting to look at mobile printing solutions, which are pretty cool. So you'll have a device or various devices located throughout the network within the organisation. People can just print directly from their tablet or Android or iPhone, which is becoming very clever. And there's a lot of software solutions out there as well, trying to integrate and minimise the amount of printing that does take place. So a lot of archive storage solutions and digital storage solutions are now taking place and obviously taking advantage of the cloud, which is a huge shift.
Yeah, it blows my mind to actually think all the things which you've just spoken about, and I know only about 20% of them. All the time I see on my iPad, on my phones, do you want to print through your Wi-Fi to somewhere? And I'm thinking, where can I print it to? And so it just is becoming smarter and smarter and smarter, isn't it? To think that the good old days that you had to have something hooked up via cable from the computer to the printer, and that's the way you had to print, and that's you had to be somewhere to do it. It's completely gone, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. I was actually at the Qantas Lounge last weekend and forgot the boarding passes, went over to the printer, opened up my iPhone and opened up the PDF document within my mail, and it allowed me to print directly to this HP printer, which I didn't even have to log on to or anything whatsoever. It was purely just an open shared printer right there, and it printed it out for me, default black and white, default double-sided.
Amazing.
And that's where we're heading.
Fantastic. So obviously this sort of print solutions that you offer and become, I suppose, in-house print managers, as you call it, which I think is brilliant. There's obviously sections which this really works for, because obviously there are smaller businesses which just have the one computer that hooks up to the printer, and they might have a couple then on Wi-Fi that can go to the printer too. But something for that's probably not what you're really aiming at or talking about. You're probably more so into that next bigger small business, medium business, correct, where you could probably help them the best and save them the most amount of money.
Yeah, that's correct. So regardless of the reports and the data that we capture, it doesn't matter how many printing devices there are, it's just an extra few zeros on the end of all the reports that we do. So if you're a small business or a large business, we run the exact same process in terms of what we do to capture and present the reports. So typically we try and look for an organisation that has a minimum of 5 multifunction devices, which are the larger A3 multifunction devices that can print, scan, fax and copy. And that typically has a fair amount of spend that we can then obviously try and help further reduce those costs.
Great.
If it's a small spend, the small savings, and sometimes it's not worth it. Obviously the larger the spend, the more money we can help them to save.
Yeah, fantastic. Great. So fairly new into the networking world.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think that's brilliant, because we've got so many people who watch us that have never been to a networking event, have only been to one or two, and as well as some seasoned professionals out there. Yep. So someone who's fairly new into the networking world, what's some advice or what's some tips that you could give other new people who are watching us today?
The first tip I would probably say is try and get to as many events as you possibly can. The more time that you can spend at the events, the more people that you're going to meet, the more you're going to be becoming a lot more relaxed and comfortable talking to strangers. You'll start seeing who the people are that are influential, and you'll start getting to know people, and that's what business is all about. So that would be my first tip. Second tip would probably be, don't open a conversation about yourself. I've had a few people just literally the first thing that blurts out is everything about their business, everything that they want, or what do you do, what's your business about? People want to do business with people that they can like and they can get to know. That would probably be one of the key aspects that I would say is get to know that person first. It's so important to make sure that you want to do business with someone that you know. So enjoy, even if it's just 5 minutes, get to know something about them, whether it's personal, whether it's something funny, whether it's non-business related. Just try and kick off and do something non-business first for the first few minutes. Third tip would probably be, if you are going to do something, make sure that you do it. If you say something and you want to follow it up, make sure that you do, because you need to be able to earn that person's trust. And you want to make sure that if you are going to have a long-term relationship with that person, you need to be someone that they can rely on. So if you say you're going to do something, do it.
Brilliant, fantastic. It's like you're a networking professional hearing those tips, because
I learned from the best.
I couldn't agree more. Fantastic. If you want to connect with Alex, which I really strongly suggest you do, you can find him on LinkedIn, Alex Luther, Luther. Connect with Alex, have a chat with him. Certainly, if you've got questions to ask him about the print management solution, then touch base with him on there and make sure that you get in touch and ask him whatever you need to know also. You can always get in touch with us, just support at referralmarketingguru.com.au. You always find us at referralmarketingguru.com.au. Get our networking tip sheets, get our podcasts. Make sure you're looking at all the different blogs, because we're all here about connecting you with the right people and getting you more referrals. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of the day, rest of the week, and we will see you again very shortly. Take care.
See you on the water.